Hi everybody, it's Honest John again. Now, earlier this month, the state of Israel celebrated the 60th anniversary of its creation. But the fact is that the state of Israel was not created out of nothing. There was another state already in place, the state of Palestine. And there were people already living there. Their lands were taken. They were given to European invaders who had nothing to do. The last time that there had been a nation of Israel had been over 1900 years before. So that old claim should certainly, it doesn't pass the test of validity. Now, the Holocaust was a terrible, terrible thing. It was. And the people who suffered deserve the sympathy of the world. But the Palestinians did not participate in the Holocaust. They owed the Jews of Germany nothing. It would have been just to have carved out for the Israelis a homeland out of the territory of Germany. But I do understand that the German Jews would not have felt comfortable living right next to the people who had just tried to exterminate them. But as horrible as the Holocaust was, it was not a justification for taking the lands of people who were thousands of miles away, who had nothing to do with it. And the land was seized by acts of terrorism, massacres, and brute force. And the people who were living there lost their lands, and European invaders moved in. So it was only fitting that at the same time that the Jews of Israel were celebrating their nation's creation, the Palestinians were commemorating the tragedy that had befallen them. Now, part of the reason that there was so much support for the creation of Israel is that the Jewish Torah and the Christian Bible overlap. The Old Testament is essentially the Torah. And so that 1900-year-old claim was recognized as valid, even though there is no other case in which any people could claim that because they had once lived in a place 1900 years ago that it would be recognized as a valid claim. So, one of the greatest evils in the history of mankind, the Holocaust, led to one of the greatest injustices in the history of mankind, the taking of the land from the Palestinians. And the Jews are firmly ensconced in what is now called Israel. And the Palestinians live under horrible conditions, under a brutal occupation, under complete oppression. And some of that they have brought on themselves by committing acts of terrorism against the Israeli population. However, if I were in a situation where my country was taken over by invaders, I would not look to compromise with them. I would commit acts of terrorism. I would fight. I would kill as many of the invaders as I could until I was finally killed. And so I do understand and have some sympathy for the Palestinians who do that. I recognize, though, that they can't succeed, that their only hope is a just peace. However, as extreme as Hamas is, the leadership of Israel is just as extreme. You know, the settlement movement is a complete provocation. Benjamin Netanyahu never passes up an opportunity to inflame the Palestinian people. It works for him politically. And so you have the two extremes, Hamas and the Israeli leadership. And I doubt if that there is ever going to be a resolution that will satisfy both parties while I'm alive. Maybe never. The Middle East is a place where things that took place thousands of years ago are still resented and harbored and dealt with as though they just happened yesterday. What is ironic is that the State of Israel and the Palestinian territories have within them what is called the Holy Land. Because if ever there was a place that was unholy, it is there. The proper name for it would be to call it the cursed lands. Thanks for listening.